This is John.
This is Danny.
Welcome to Do You Know?
All right, man. So what's up?
So I heard in Israel, so they've given the fourth shot, and people are still catching COVID. Now, it's technically Omicron that they're catching, but I thought the point of the shot was to lessen your hospitalization anyways. So I don't think it's that much of a surprise that people are catching it, which begs the question, why are you getting a fourth shot to begin with?
Yeah, I mean, well, when I looked at the fourth shot from Israel, it seemed like the amount of antibodies that they were creating was similar to the third shot. So that's why, like, in the UK, they voted against the fourth shot, because in the test, the science was saying that people weren't actually getting more antibodies. They've already created the max unless you went over the 6-month period, which I think today they've lowered it to 5 months.
I see.
And I think they say, yeah, it's hospitalization and death for that very elderly group, because Israel is like more of an elderly country.
Yeah.
So a lot of people over 65, and I guess with underlying health conditions. So they say, oh, if you get the booster shot, it'll limit the hospitalization to the point where you need the respirator and all these other things, because the typical medicine for Omicron doesn't work. So like the mitochondrial antibodies don't work with this variant.
Right.
So it's something you want to avoid. But on the other hand, when you look at the data from the United States, they're saying that less people are being hospitalized, even when it comes to people who have one vaccine. They're saying that it's 52%. And if you have full vaccination, it's just 60%. So it's not like you're in that 80 or 90 percentile that you were originally with the first two vaccines. It's all been lowered. So it's like a coin flip.
Yeah.
For everybody. So it doesn't matter how many shots you give people.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. But I think what the idea is that when this mutates to the new variant, they're hoping everyone who got vaccinated will be protected against the new one that's coming, because there's no guarantee that it'll be weaker.
Right.
I guess they say there could be a Frankenstein variant.
I see.
So, but in my opinion, if there is a Frankenstein variant, we would need a Frankenstein vaccine.
We need a Frankenstein vaccine.
You know what I mean? It's just,
Right.
we're really just these small, creatures, if you think about it. Like, we just had a huge volcanic eruption, okay? And it caused low-level tsunami, but it could have easily been a huge tsunami. So, and we're talking about Japan, all the way to Hawaii, all the way to California coast. So
Right.
I think it was 3 to 4 foot waves. It knocked out all of the power and the cell phone communication, because all the lines are underwater.
Right.
So I guess the lava or whatnot burnt it all, or however the explosion. But when you look at it on the map, it looks like a nuclear bomb went off.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a violent explosion. I mean, people in New Zealand said they heard sonic booms from it.
Wow.
So, so really we're just like these, creatures walking around this planet, but it may be the great shift. I was reading this thing, they were saying the sixth, I guess, clearing out of species for the Earth, since the Earth was created, that we might be entering the sixth element of basically when the planet just does its own genocide.
Really?
Yeah, they were saying that lots of different birds and mammals and reptiles are slowly basically becoming extinct.
Yeah.
Through the planet, though. It's not through carbon. It's not because, there's like less energy or there's more human development. It's just they're dying out.
Wow. So would that beg the fact that something new will come, like it's done in the last 5 times? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it's something always survives. So, is there any thought as to what would survive?
Well, I guess it would be the the whole idea of when you go Darwin.
Yeah.
I guess the strongest of those species, because see what has happened is that you may have well, again, we'll go back to Darwin. You have a beetle, right?
Yeah.
But then you have like all these subtypes. Even though they're in the same class of beetle, they're like different beetles. So only some of them, though, have the features for them to survive.
Yeah.
So those beetles will survive, and then they'll reproduce and then create a new species of beetle.
Yeah.
So that's basically what's going to happen is you're going to have just a new exotic reptile. You know, and again, I mean, they're pretty durable. You know, you think they're some of the oldest, animals on this planet when you think of reptiles.
Yeah.
But even if they're dying out, you know, they have 2 islands, and they're illegal to go to. So I guess during, I want to say World War II, maybe World War One, a Navy boat had landed on this island because they had so many sick soldiers. And when they got to the island, it was completely covered crocodiles. Like literally the whole island, there's nowhere to even stand. That's how many crocodiles are on this island.
Yeah.
And all those soldiers were eaten to death. So they've made it illegal to stop at that island for boats. And then there's another island, I'm not sure how far from that island, that's completely covered. When I say covered, think Indiana Jones when he's like in the thing, like the snake pit,
Right.
of poisonous snakes.
Oh, wow.
And it's called Snake Island.
Snake Island.
And it's the same thing. It's like, I guess they landed there and there was just no way to avoid these poisonous snakes. It was like they got overtook just by snakes in just like a matter of minutes. I'm talking about hundreds of soldiers. Like
Yeah.
That's just how many attacked them as soon as they landed on this beach or this. They couldn't even get away.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy when you think about it. So those 2 islands exist. Now we know about. What other islands are out there?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have a snake island, you have a crocodile island, and somehow they're populating.
I know, right? They have like enough food to like sustain the whole island.
Right? And the strongest survive, and they create the hybrid, the new poisonous snake. They didn't say it's one poisonous snake, it's tons of, probably thousands of poisonous snakes, all different species
yeah.
that have developed just on this island over however many centuries.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's just fascinating to think about because there's so much that we don't know. You know, that's why it's Do You Know?
Yeah.
On the last episode, we forgot to, talk a little bit about Betty White.
Right.
You know, she was so close to the 100th birthday, and I guess just a few days ago it came.
Yeah, I think it was like on the 17th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just want to give a shout out. Anyone who, has been around, especially someone who you see on TV and her age and just the charisma, So I think we're definitely fans of Betty White. And I know some friends of mine had a Betty White dinner to celebrate her 100th.
Oh, wow.
So they had
That's
like
nice.
hot dogs and they had whiskey and they had some kind of pie. Or there's things that I guess she was known for enjoying.
Yeah.
And then Bob Saget.
Bob Saget, yeah.
So, another person who I know if you knew TGIF, you're in that 90s, Thank God It's Friday kind of thing. You get to watch the Full House with the family. And, it was I would say for that era, it was a good show. It was like all just kind of, whitewashed.
Yeah. It definitely had, but you know what? It was heartwarming and it was a little bit funny, and his character was, but like his comedy was so opposite to like his character. I don't know how he got that role.
Well, that's why people couldn't believe it.
I know.
And I had the privilege of meeting him a couple times when I was a bartender.
Yeah.
He'd come in with other celebrities, Adam Sandler, Chris Rock. I guess they were all friends.
Yeah.
So I got to meet him a couple times, but I never had like a heart-to-heart conversation or anything. Just serve him a drink, say hello, how you doing, kind of thing. But sad for someone who's getting back into the mainstream light. I guess he had just performed a show. I know this is old news.
Yeah.
But I guess he had texted Dave Chappelle just a little bit before that show or in that time, and Dave Chappelle never responded to the text because he was busy. and now he feels so bad about it.
Uh,
So he's like, man, just remember, you don't know how someone's going to be here. So it's like you're so busy in your life and someone's reaching out to you and saying something, and like he never responded.
yeah.
So, it's sad. So just wanted to, throw a shout out to them.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I remember he was the funniest comedian on this movie called The Aristocrats. I don't know if you've ever seen this movie, but it's about like the dirtiest joke ever told. And his humor was so dirty. I mean, it was just like so, but like good. It wasn't for its own sake. It wasn't like Adam Sandler does like, fart jokes and so he wasn't like that. Like his stuff was really highbrow. So, yeah, Bob Saget, man.
Yeah.
Classy dude.
Absolutely. Yeah, I need to probably rewatch and see some of the comedy. I mean, it's been I can't even remember a special per se on the top of my head right now. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, just no drugs, I mean, they said basically peacefully in his sleep.
Yeah, he was 65. So, I mean,
But he did get the booster.
right, it wasn't COVID, but what I'm saying is like, there was a time when 40 was over the hill.
Mm-hmm.
So 65 was like you had one foot in the grave. Now they're like, oh, 65, that's so young. I can't believe he went so young. So I don't know where they're doing this new math, but that's a good life. I mean, 65 years on this earth is pretty good.
Most of our listeners are probably 65.
No, right. But that's what I'm trying to say, though. I'm trying to say that that's a good time for living. People are living longer because of better health care. People have better doctors, and there's better medicine, there's better food. But still, when I grew up in the 80s, 65 was like a good age to be, and I think it still is. So if you die at 65, I don't think that's considered young, is what I'm saying. Like, when people say, like, oh, he went so young, I can't, and for it to be news, I think that's very shocking to me because it doesn't seem young to me because I grew up in a time when 65 wasn't young. 65 was old.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. It's just, I think because also that week you had Betty White die, who was 99.
Right.
So you do that compare and contrast, obviously in your mind, and you go,
Yeah.
wow, 99.
Yeah, but see, that's so, like,
And she
rare.
was acting.
Yeah, I mean, that's just genetics, man. Like, that's so rare that you're going to have that. And then we just had, like, the oldest man in the world die. He was 112. He was a cobbler. He had, like, 8 children, like, 24 grandchildren, and, like, 27 great-grandchildren.
Wow.
And he was in Spain, and he was 112 and, like, 138 days old. And he just recently died. But there's not that many 112-year-old people on the planet. Like, we only highlight those on the news. Like, the majority of people live until their 60s and 70s. And maybe now until their 80s and 90s. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, I'm saying Bob Saget.
He had a full life, basically.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, 65 is a full life. Like, that's why you retire at 65. That's why they never expected you to. That's why they gave that year, the Social Security.
Well, you hope
office.
at 65 retiring, you still get another couple decades. I mean, no one wants to work their whole life.
That's
Finally
why
get to
they gave that
65.
year. That's why they did that, because they figured...
It was rigged?
Yeah, they figured you're going to die anyways. Like, we're not going to pay that much anyways.
Hey, we'll give you money for the rest of your life.
Right.
And then they pull the old,
Yeah.
That is the end.
Right.
Ooh.
Because...
Man, the government is always hustling, man, and we're going to go run out and get these vaccines.
Right.
They busted the 65 trick. Why wouldn't the vaccines be the next one?
No, because remember, this was old. Like, that number is not a recent number. Like, that number, the 65 number, was done a while, like when the Social Security was established.
But I think that's the bare minimum of Social Security now. People can work till they're like 67, 68. They've changed the rules.
Because people are living longer, and therefore...
So they've given a little bit... So they've given more incentive to stay at work for a few more years.
Right.
They'll be like, look, you stay a few more years, you can really cash in.
Right.
My advice is just retire at 65. I know, why would I say that? I think if you do the math, getting less money for more years, it ends up being, for the extra amount of years, ends up making more money. Because life is not guaranteed, like we're saying. So if you wait to cash in for that little bit more, and you wasted those couple years waiting to get that little bit more, if you add up those couple years while you were waiting...
But you're making the money that you're working, though.
But you're making... What I'm saying is there's this... You're making a set amount. It's like... Because it's not like thousands of difference. We're talking about hundreds. So, like, instead of getting, like, let's say, I think it's, like, $1,100 or $1,500 a month if you're 65, and if you wait till 68 or whatever it is, you go to, like, $1,700 or $1,800 or something. It's, like, $300 more a month.
Right.
It's not, like, life-changing. So, I'm just saying, you take that 36 months that you waited at the less amount, and you divide that over the 300. We're talking about you're being covered to like your early 80s.
Right.
So why wait? I mean, if it was like millions of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars, we're talking about a couple $100.
Yeah,
and they raised the 17% inflation right now.
Right.
Like you're waiting. By the time you wait, it's like pancakes are $900 a box.
Yeah.
Now what are you gonna do?
Right.
Use your whole check.
Yeah.
Get one pancake. I'll tell you, just since I brought up pancakes, they're probably like the most disappointing food. Like when there's so much anticipation while they're being made and they're coming out, and then like as soon as you finish one, you're like, well, I don't think I want any more. They have to be the most disappointing food of all time.
Oh man. Yeah, it's hard to get a good pancake, because you got to get like the right syrup, the right butter. It's got to be like fluffy and a little bit crunchy.
And they hope they bring out a buckwheat. Forget about it. You ever had one of those? You talk about dry, just absolutely disgusting. Like,
yeah,
they're like, oh, try these. They're healthy, made with flapjacks or whatever. You're like, you ruined my day. Anyway, not to go off subject too much. So, talking about cooking. California wants to ban gas stoves.
Really?
So there's a huge push right now to get rid of every gas stove in California.
Wow.
They want to go all electric. They say the carbon emissions from everybody's stove is destroying our environment, and it's time to get rid of them.
It's easy to burn stuff on the electric stove. Like they heat up really fast.
Yeah.
It'll be a really, people who are used to cooking on gas are going to have like a big learning curve going to electric, if that's the case.
Yeah, I prefer gas because you can see the flame and decide exactly where you want it to be. On electric, it's like low, medium, high, and medium seems high.
Yeah.
And low is too low.
Right.
So it's very annoying. They're going to have to make the smart electric stove. And I'm sure that'll be the big push in the future. Something where you actually could control with a thermostat exactly how many degrees.
Right. And be able to like fine tune it. Because
if you guys make that, remember, the show has the patent pending. The old smart stove.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, here you are, you're cooking. So, I mean, I think there'd be a huge outcry from the people, and it would be hard to get that done. Now, is that because we're running out of natural gas? Is that why?
No, I think it's that push to saying that everything gas is bad for the environment, and the California push to make everything electric. I mean, when we talk about everything electric, I mean, from gardening, like for the gardeners outside, they have to use electric blowers now.
Right.
Electric mowers. That's like a big push to get rid of the gasoline. The Harley Davidson motorcycles are now electric. All their new motorcycles are electric.
I see.
So they want to get rid of everything having to do with gas.
Yeah.
I know there's going to be some diehard propane, users who are going to put up the biggest fight because, propane is kind of in that gray area where it's bad for the environment, but not as bad as burning gas.
Right.
So propane, because it's a clean energy,
Yeah.
they can get away with it a little bit. The new grills, they want, all the grills, they want to use either propane, but I think they're pushing for electric grills now outside, which kind of takes away the idea of grilling.
Yeah.
Why not just cook on your stovetop if it's electric? Where's the flavor? And the whole idea was that you use gas, you have a flame, charcoal flames, to
Yeah.
cook your meat. Why would you just cook on an electric grill? That's weird.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And and this is the question for the listeners, do we really have enough electricity for this? Because I remember every summer rolling blackouts for people using their air conditioner.
Right.
So imagine if everything was electric. Like right now we are like whatever the percentage is. Let's say we're 50%. And we have to roll blackouts. We have to conserve electricity. There's all these slogans.
Right.
And all of a sudden everything, we're talking about millions of vehicles all electric. Everything in our home all electric. Why would we have enough electricity?
Yeah, that's a pickle because then you can't cook anything. Then you're stuck.
Can't do any. I mean, I'm just saying, you have an electric world, and all of a sudden there's no electricity. What do? All go to bed? Turn off the lights? No lights?
Right.
There's like what, the one diehard person who has like a gas truck in their backyard that they saved for 20 years. They put some fuel injector, and they're like, well, can't get me.
Right.
I got the last gas truck. I mean, it's going to be horrible, in my opinion. I mean, there has to be an infrastructure for electricity that they're designing. There must be something coming, because my understanding of the utility, it's old technology.
Right.
You look at countries, again, I'm going to say China, we're going to put an asterisk, I'm not positive. They're using fusion, they're creating a sun of electricity indoors. So we talked about it a few shows ago. 18 minutes, 750 million degrees Celsius. You want to talk about energy, high energy. So if they can take this energy and facilitate it into electricity, well, now we're talking. Right. They'll have the power if you have that much heat, because heat, in essence, can be transformed into electricity.
Right.
So I'm not sure what we're planning to do in California to make this electricity. I know they talk about solar,
yeah,
and wind, but we have a lot of cloudy days. So I just don't understand how you store it. Like, I have a few friends who invested in solar panels in Nevada, and they thought, there's so much sun here, it's like going to be free. And then the utility had said if you go over, they'll buy the energy from them.
Right.
So it was like a really good campaign, and it's a tax write-off.
Yeah.
But in reality, they still have a bill. The utility pays them pennies on the electricity, not what they pay the electricity for.
Right.
And they have no say. So what happens is, whatever maximum amount of kilowatts go towards their bill, whatever's left over, the utility automatically intercepts. It's like they forfeited it, and then they get whatever small credit for whatever the utility took, just without any kind of, like, you can't store that energy for your home for later. They put you at a max.
You can't put it in a battery for like a cloudy day or something.
They just take it, and then the utility resells it.
I see.
So what you're really doing is you're working for the utility company.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so backhanded if you think about it. It's like they thought of a scheme that is going to, try to help society, but in the end, they're profiting from it. So you're investing in all this stuff, and they're taking the resources.
Yeah.
I thought the idea of being solar was you now are independent of the utility.
Yeah.
But the utility doesn't want to do that. They don't want independence. They want you to still be on the grid.
Yeah, well, I mean, aren't we social beings though? Like, don't we have a responsibility to the whole? Like, like Nevada, talk about an electricity town. So you know what I'm saying. I mean, I'm not just talking about the strip, but I'm saying you're living in the middle of the desert. At least here in Los Angeles, you do have water and air and wind and other things like that. But I mean, in Nevada, like you have to have an air conditioner. Like if you don't have an air conditioner, you're dead. So or at least 6 months out of the year at least. So the companies have to come up with ways to generate that electricity. So I say good for them for thinking of ways for working with people. Now, yeah, they probably did it in a bit of an underhanded way, but what were the people going to do? They were going to store a little tiny bit of electricity that wasn't going to last them much for anything. I mean, they're trying to increase the grid for everyone. So they could have sold it a different way. They could have said, hey, do you want to share your power with everybody? And people would have said, no, I don't want to do that.
Right.
for free. Or, so they just did it another way. They said, we'll buy back. They just told them what they're going to do. We'll buy back your electricity. So
and then resell it at 10 times the market value.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know. Being in business, I'm not a businessman. It's hard for me to understand the ins and outs of business and like how you have to move as a business person in the climate, because it seems that you have to make these cutthroat decisions, to stay in business, because someone else is always waiting to swoop in and take your customers, to take your place in the hierarchy, it just seems like such a intense place to be. You know?
It's actually happening right now. I think today there was a warning not to fly on an airplane.
Oh, because of
5G.
Yeah.
So what's happening with 5G is they haven't come to a deal with aircraft yet.
Yeah.
And the airliners don't know how the 5G will hurt their equipment for landing, especially during a storm. Because during a storm, they have no visibility.
Right.
So they rely on these instruments.
Now, wouldn't they be able to, set up some tests and find out?
Well, what's happened is the FDA has I think the number is 42% of aircraft have now been fitted with the 5G, whatever the regulator is for that instrument.
Oh,
the other
I see.
60% hasn't been fitted yet.
I got it.
And they're waiting for, the airliners to do this improvement. It's something that they physically have to put onto the aircraft so that signal doesn't interfere with their instrument, because it could change what the pilot sees.
Right.
So again, it's not real. It could change the altitude or whatever. I'm guessing. I don't know for sure what it changes. But what I'm saying is if it changes anything and you're on that aircraft, you don't want that to happen.
Right.
Especially in a storm. They're trying to land. It's 2 a.m. You're in all kinds of turbulence. You're praying. And the pilot's like, what? Why does it say we're 50 feet when we're 300 feet?
Right.
And they're like, well, pull up. But pull down. But what? And then disintegration.
Yeah.
You don't want that. So what's happening is they've turned off the 5G towers near LAX. So basically the cell phone companies, as a compromise, said we're not going to stop our launch of 5G because everyone's been anticipating it. All the new cell phones are out. What we'll do is we'll turn off the 5G towers near airports.
Right.
Until you get this correct.
Yeah.
So what will happen is if you have 5G, it won't work in the radius of an airport.
Right.
So that might suck if you live in that area.
Yeah. That's going to be a bummer. But, they're used to having a bad time because like you already live near an airport, you're listening to planes all day. Now you don't have 5G.
Right, and occasionally they dump all their debris on you.
Yeah. Now, is 5G supposed to be like when we got our internet like faster? Is that so? Basically, it's like having faster internet.
Basically, it's faster data speed. So you have faster data, so it'll allow you to have less lag time, and I think you'll probably have some kind of RAM speed, so that when you respond, it's faster as well. Like it'll be on both sides, so receiving and sending.
Right. So therefore you won't need to have like Wi-Fi at home. You'll just basically have this incredibly fast signal. So wherever you go, you have the internet at the ready. And that's why you would want 5G.
Right. And it'll probably be the same thing though. You'll use Wi-Fi at home, and most of the Wi-Fi I think is transitioning to 5G as well, because it'll affect your data rate. So if you only use your phone at home and you go over your amount of gigabytes for the month, then your phone will slow down to 4G or whatever it is,
right?
Or 3G.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking like
they always do something like that.
Yeah, like 5G. You would probably. I mean, it sounds like you would want to do that for like gaming or for like, because like I can already stream videos on my phone and I don't have 5G.
Probably for like mining, crypto mining would be faster.
I guess. I'm trying to think like what, I mean, but like basically the reason why you buy.
But you remember 3G. 3G, you couldn't even stream.
No, right. But I'm saying like, but now we have 4G, but I'm just going like,
but now 5G, you can stream faster.
5G would be for like gaming, like, because that's what you need, like that intense, interactive, back and forth, But I'm saying, who's gaming on their phone nowadays? Like people,
right?
No one's gaming on a phone. People have PCs for that,
but
or
now
they have
phones,
laptops.
But now the phones will be able to handle that gaming speed. So the cell phones of the future
will have
maybe
games
like
on them.
console speed.
I see.
Well, the other thing with 5G is, remember during the pandemic, there was a conspiracy theory that the reason people were getting sick and dying was it wasn't from coronavirus, but it was from these 5G cell towers.
Wow.
That were going through the body, that our body can't actually handle the amount of radiation that these towers give.
Yeah.
And that was radiation poisoning from the 5G, because the areas where the towers were first built had the most coronavirus infections coincidentally.
I see.
I mean, the thing is, the companies want to do this as well. So Netflix raised their monthly rate again. So they seem to do this every few months.
Yeah.
What they want to do next is, I think, using this 5G technology, they're going to be able to turn off people. So what they want to do is, a lot of people have multiple subscribers.
Yeah.
I think what they want to do is make you pay for a multiple subscription plan. So if multiple subscribers are using, I think as we get new technology, they're going to be able to track who's getting the signal, and it's going to help them. Remember when Xbox went from disc? Like there was disc that you could just put in, like you go to your friend's house and put in a disc and you guys could just play. You could bring a cartridge.
Yeah.
Then they changed it. So now you have to install it on the Xbox.
Right.
And if you try to take that disc to somebody else's house, it won't work.
Right.
Because it's already been installed and went through the Xbox communication of the internet.
Yeah.
And everything's been registered to that unit.
Yeah.
So what I think 5G is that kind of thing. All of our data is going to start to be registered, so that it's going to be harder for pirating. It's going to be harder to share things. It's going to enhance the other things, the tracking, the phone listening, the sales. Because again, we're trying to move to this world of, 5.0.
Yeah.
Or 4.0 rather, where, basically everything automates for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a trip, man. yeah. I don't know that, I mean, like, I basically think that, like, for movies, pirating does hurt the movie's bottom line, but there's not enough pirates in general to do so. You know what I'm saying? Like, the guy on the street who's selling a copy of the movie, Spider-Man, for example. There's enough people out there. And then for the few romantic comedies that are in the theater, no one's pirating those anyways,
Well, it's a different world now.
Yeah.
But like when we go back to normal, like, I was reading that the Who, I don't know who the Who are exactly.
Yeah.
Said we're entering the endemic stage now, and within this year, we should be done with the coronavirus. That's from the WHO statement.
The World Health Organization.
When I hear someone call themselves the WHO,
right.
I think of Dr. Seuss.
I see.
We are the Who's. Anyway, so if that's the case, then in a year, all these, studios are going to really start releasing their movies because they must have them in a vault.
Right. Yeah, they're just like waiting for the right thing. Or maybe they just haven't been making any movies and we're going to be like,
Well, I mean, most of it's been series. The big push now is series and streaming because everyone's at home and all that stuff went up. But
yeah,
you can't beat the movie experience.
No.
I mean, I haven't been to a movie in a long time, personally, but I talk to people who go to movies often, and it's still a great experience.
Yeah, Josh and I went to see Scream, right? And people in the audience are like, they're jumping in their seats and stuff. So, the movie going experience hasn't changed too much. Watching a horror movie or watching an action movie with Spider-Man. So, yeah, it definitely, if you see it in a full theater, opening night, you got your popcorn, you got your soda. It's a unique experience, You see it in an empty theater when it's been moved to the back. I mean, there's
a little tiny theater.
Yeah, you might as well just watch it at home. Like, you got to see it opening night.
Yeah, you got to see it when it's just super hype.
Yeah.
But again, with the mask on, I mean, how do you focus on the movie when you hear your own breathing?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. That's why you got to get some popcorn and a drink because you're allowed to take your mask off
if you're
eating and drinking.
And they don't really come over in the dark and say, "Excuse me,
right?
You need to put your mask on."
Right. Plus, we were sitting all the way in the back, like in the handicap seats.
Okay.
We were sitting in the handicap seats, so we were like far away. So everyone else is breathing in one direction, and we're in the other direction.
Some listeners might be angry at you for that.
That's all right. I feel like I'm.
But if someone came over, you would have given your seats.
Right, of course. Yeah. No, we had seats in the theater.
Oh yeah.
But those seats are never taken. They're always available. So I figured we're gonna go ahead and use these seats for now. Mm-hmm. And yeah, exactly. If someone needed them, of course we would have gotten them. But they didn't because they never are.
Right.
So yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's nice to have like a good experience. Go to a theater and be able to kick back and enjoy. And their popcorn is always good at a theater. I mean, I remember that's what stands out. They still make their own popcorn, or do they now buy it?
I think they still make it. And they use just a ton of butter, which is what I think makes it so good.
But back in 1994, I worked at a movie theater.
Yeah.
And I was 14 years old. And I worked in the concession area. And one day, the popcorn popper person called out. And they came to me and they said, "Hey, Dan, do you think you could pop popcorn today?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" So they take me to this room, and it's a pretty big room. It has a huge, silver table. It's almost like an operating table, but it's wide.
Yeah.
And you would pop the popcorn, but you'd have this huge box of butter. Okay, and it was similar to the old soda machines. It would kind of slip on. It had a big slip that would go over the tube. And while you're popping it, you'd have to squirt the butter out onto the table and some salt and kind of mix it as you threw into these huge yellow bags. So anyway, I'm 14, and while you're making it, you're supposed to eat some. They told you to make sure it tastes good, that it's salty enough, it's buttery enough. So you're supposed to eat the popcorn from a little bit before you put into each bag to make sure that it's like consistent.
Yeah.
So I'm doing this, and I'm like, this is pretty cool. It gets a little hot in there. So I had to change the huge butter thing, and I didn't know how to change it. So I just used common sense. I'll slip the thing over, boom, 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 and before you know it, it had leaked all over the room. And I'm standing in like 2 inches of butter in this room, and I don't know what to do.
Oh, no.
So I remember getting a manager and just getting that head shake, that like 1990s like face of dismay.
Yeah.
Again, I'm 14 years old, and I'm like, hey, I don't know what happened. I tried to put the butter thing on, and now I'm standing in butter. So they sent me home.
They sent you home. Wow.
That was it. No more popping butter or popping popcorn for me.
Wow.
I got sent home. It's like, I didn't know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And it's like I got in trouble for it.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do?
So you never found out how to do it?
Still don't know.
Still
Just
don't
don't ever
know.
send me in to popcorn, because you'll get a mess. Because in my mind, I would just do the same thing, but I'm sure now it's like they have better technology. Then it was just like flimsy plastic.
Yeah.
So you go plastic and plastic. You like lifted this thing, but you know what it was? It probably wasn't strong enough. If you think about it, you know what I'm talking about? You probably had to like really get it in there
Yeah.
to make sure that it's snug.
Yeah.
But at the time at 14, you don't really know what snug is because you don't know about elbow grease. Like, it's the kind of like you would wipe a counter and there would be like, let's say, something that's sticking to it. And as a kid, you would wipe it and that thing wouldn't come off. You'd be like, that's supposed to be there.
Right.
But then when you're older, you know about elbow grease. You're like, that thing has to go.
Yeah.
You really can scrub it out. So it's different as you age. You realize you have more power.
I see.
You know what I mean? Manpower now.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Elbow grease. Yeah, that's interesting. All right.
Yeah. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, this is Dan.
This is John.
We'll see you next time.
Peace.